Once upon a time, the story of my enchanted magical life began even before I was born. I was born at 12 noon GMT on the ley line running along Ermine Street, the old Roman road which runs close to the Greenwich Meridian line, just to the north of Royston Cave on the Cambridgeshire-Hertfordshire border. But the significance of this was not revealed to me until later on in my charmed and eventful life. I was actually very reluctant to return to Earth and to my current incarnation. After all, I was enjoying my interlude on the astral plane, and who in their right mind would want to go through all the hassle of being born again and being confined in a dense physical shell to experience the full range of living in a human body? However, the invisible beings who have always been with me and who I refer to as my parents in the sky, some would call them guides, gently explained to me that I still had work to do on the earthly plane. They showed me where I was going to be born and where I would spend my childhood. Together, we outlined the blueprint for my life, my mission, although that remained buried deep in my memory and did not resurface until I was older. I bet you're thinking, what on earth is she babbling on about? How do you know what it was like before you were born? And what's all that nonsense about guides and missions? Well, let me explain. My mission for this life is actually dependent on me remembering what it was like before I was born and having a degree of contact with the invisible realms. Most people do not consciously remember their existence in other dimensions, and there is a good reason for this, because we are born to explore all aspects of humanity over the course of our past, present and future lives, or even parallel lives, and such paranormal memories often serve to create a distraction from our main mission in each life. In other words, it is very easy to get sidetracked by such psychic phenomena, and we do not need them to lead a full and meaningful life. We actually all have the capacity to tap into these energies. Scientists believe that we only use about 10% of our brain power, but very few do so. In my case, however, I needed to access these memories in order to undertake my mission and to pass on the messages contained in this book. I am a witch. I have always been a witch throughout eternity, in both this life and in my many previous incarnations, something which I will return to in a subsequent chapter. I am what is called a psychic intuitive. In other words, someone who has a deep sense of inner knowing about the nature of events and reality. I see things in my inner eye. To the consternation of my family as I was growing up, this was dismissively referred to as Trisha's funny little ways, and any manifestations were very heavily stamped upon. So I quickly learnt to conceal my unconventional behaviour from others. Some people might try to dismiss psychic experiences as fantasy, but I am fully aware of the difference between imagination and reality, and my memories are very real. What is it like in the astral realms? Indescribably beautiful. Indescribable is exactly what I mean, because what I'm trying to describe is a state which is beyond normal human perception, and hence we do not have the words to adequately describe it. The nearest I can get to explaining this is that the whole of reality is suffused with the most beautiful, delicate pastel colours, which are vibrating at a very high rate. The beings and objects there are not as solid as in our normal waking reality. My guides generate an immense aura of what can only be described as pure love. They never interfere and are never judgmental. They are simply just there to provide guidance when asked. When I first saw the painting of William Arkle featured in this video at the Mind Body Spirit Festival in 1977, I was completely bowled over by it. It encapsulates exactly how I see the astral plane, although what I see incorporates all the colours of the spectrum and more. The images of the parents are uncannily similar to how I see my own parents in the sky.